Hello, everyone, and welcome to our video series, Coming Home, Life After Semester at Sea. My name is Dee Colombini, one of the ship counselors on Voyage 134. With me is Emma DeCaro, our ASL interpreter. And today, our special guest is Lori Catalano. Welcome, Lori.
Welcome. It's so good to see both of you.
You too. So please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what your role was on the ship.
I'm Lori Catalano, and I'm a professor of landscape architecture at Colorado State University. And on the ship, I was one of the faculty members, and I taught 3 classes: the history of the design landscape, design thinking, and ecology. In addition, I was known for helping with arts and crafts projects such as Halloween costumes and modifying T-shirts for the Sea Olympics. And that was because I was approved to have tape, scissors, and sticky notes for my classes.
One of the lucky few to
One
have
of the
it.
lucky few, and I had to keep it on the down low.
Awesome. And it sounds like SAS life for you was much more than just standing in front of a class and lecturing.
Yes, much, much more than that. It was much more about being flexible, joining different groups and being part, and more so building a community, like not so much individual groups, but actually being part of a community where we all shared things together. And the lines sort of melted between faculty, staff, students. And so you really got to know one another much better.
Sounds great. It sounds like you got really involved. And what an opportunity to meet students on a new level, a different level.
Mm-hmm. And to learn from them. Very much we were on this journey together.
So true. So true. So what do you miss most about SAS?
What do I miss most? I really miss the community itself, that sense of all of those really shared experiences, and so that environment of learning together and then having conversations about what you learned, but it being so fluid and that so being at your fingertips. Like you're together all the time. I think another thing I really miss is I love driving cross country. So I love that journey and watching the landscape change. And when you stop at the gas station, you meet new people and they're different and they have different viewpoints, and you can see how the environment or the landscape and the climate and the people change as you move along at that pace. And I view this voyage in the same way. Like that's what I loved, was the pace of the voyage. Um, so when you arrived, I miss that sort of arrival at a new place. But you didn't like arrive at the airport and you're tired and you get your luggage and you've been up for 12 hours. Like you wake up in the morning and you grab a cup of coffee and you go up and you stand on the deck with your friends. And there's this really beautiful kind of slow arrival process as you transition from less water to more land, and then you start to see details. And generally in the morning, the sun was rising. So I can't think of one time where it wasn't just magical to enter into every port, and that anticipation to, like, the work week's over, but the anticipation of what you're going to see and who you're going to travel with, that I do really miss that excitement.
Yeah, Yeah. So having the community there on the ship, just walk out your cabin and there's people to interact with.
Yeah,
And then on those arrival days, it was almost like presents were out there, presents waiting to be unwrapped.
yeah,
When you,
exactly. Like every morning was Christmas.
yeah, just
Yeah.
just magical. Wonderful. So tell us, what was one of your favorite memories? I know there's so many. Do you have one that was one of your
I think people ask that, and I've gotten so I don't worry about one. I like just flip through them all. Oh, like today I'm going to say this one. So today I'm going to talk about my experience in Ghana. So I was part of a group that did a lean in program where we flew to the middle of Ghana and we were able to be in a village and interact with K through 8 students at their school. And we spent 3 days there. We started to get to know them, and I love their curiosity and their just willingness to share who they were and the not only the dancing and the fun we had, but actually um, like just answering all their questions, going into their classrooms. And as much as they were excited to learn about us, I was excited to hear about them and their life. And we played games and we actually went into the classroom and taught
Oh,
and saw some of what they were learning. And it was an honor. We actually fed them breakfast in the morning and we helped serve lunch. And so it helped us feel as though we weren't always just the isolated visitor,
mm.
but we were much more engaged with the students. And when they'd see us again, they'd all wave to us and we'd wave back. And we got to go pick them up on the one morning we got up early to get on their school bus so we could greet them in the morning as they got on the school bus, and we'd have to get off and hug their parents, and it just felt really special.
Sounds like an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And so many things that you did in terms of interaction. You mentioned, the teaching, the seeing their parents, the seeing what their mornings were like getting on the school bus, sharing food, music, dance, games. It
And
sounds
there
like,
a few of their parents were tailors. And so
oh,
they came to the school and we chose materials and they made clothing we purchased clothing from them. Like I bought a pair of pants and it was just so fun to interact with them in that way.
yeah.
And they were such good tailors and seamstresses. It was really enjoyable.
I'm sure whatever you purchase will always bring back the memories
Yes.
just
Yeah.
about those. Wonderful. Wonderful. So how was coming back for you? Um,
So
yeah,
actually, I know for some people it was more difficult. For me, um, the transition wasn't that hard, but I think I was very lucky in that my husband joined me in Bangkok. And then we traveled with a couple other faculty members for a day or two in Bangkok. So there was that transition away from the ship, but I still had those people around me, and my husband was there, so he got to meet a few of them. And then we flew to Krabi and Raleigh Beach and spent some time over Christmas, actually just the two of us hanging out together and kind of going on our own little adventures together. So there was that transition period. And then we came back right at the end of the year. So he was a part of that experience and got to meet some of my friends,
yes.
which I think is really important because that it's such an intense experience to not have people around you understand that and kind of be a part of that and know a little bit about when you talk about this person or that person or being on the ship or what immigration is like, to have some sort of understanding because you had your own adventure together.
Yeah, right.
And,
Absolutely.
and then, so there was that transition made it a little easier. I had about 2 weeks before school started. So I could kind of ease into prepping for classes and things like that. Um, and I tried to delay that as long as possible to stay in that little bubble.
Yeah.
But then unfortunately, my mom was quite sick. And so I was flying back to Iowa to see her. So it kind of took my attention off of this other experience.
Mm, yeah.
In not bad or good ways, but I think I didn't have a lot of time to think about that transition because I was on my feet and then classes started. And so I was very much on the go, 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 go.
Yes. I'm sorry to hear about your mom.
Thanks.
Um, if I hear what worked for you, I hear a couple different things. I hear like there was a step down, you know,
Mhm.
you kind of stepped down into Bangkok, still had some contact, took some time to come back. Your partner was able to join you. So that's the other thing. Some of the other people we've interviewed has said, it really helps being able to talk and stay connected with people who understand, they've been through it, they know what I'm talking about, they get it. And so
Yes.
then in your partner joining you, you have that overlap there too. So that's fabulous. And then I also hear you saying, and your best intention was to also give yourself the space of a transition time.
Yeah.
Um, and then sometimes life allows that, and sometimes it pulls us back more quickly
More
than we.
quickly than maybe we had hoped.
Yeah.
And I think so one of the most challenging things for me actually is um, expressing to others. So people will say to me, like, oh, that sounds amazing. What was your favorite thing? And they want just one thing, right? So I try to express that, and I get very frustrated that I can't really express the fullness of the experience in a really short conversation.
Yes.
And then I feel a little misunderstood, not really misunderstood, but that I'm not communicating well. And I find that really challenging. And I think the reason part of it is challenging because I'm worried about losing those memories.
Mm,
And I'm worried about those memories fading. And if I can't express them now, how am I going to ever hold on to them? And I think what's helped are a crazy WhatsApp, like communicating with people on WhatsApp. And it's been really helpful to watch these little videos and hear voices and see familiar faces. So it helps bring the flood of emotions and good thoughts and that magic back. But I think that's one of my huge fears is that I can't capture it and that it's going to be gone and I'm going to lose that excitement.
and I just want to name the sadness there and the grieving of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that is a loss. Um, and I've heard other people say, was it a dream? Please, it's starting to feel like it was just a dream. And so I think to address that, you're like, well, and I'm staying in touch through WhatsApp, and I'm
Yes.
looking at the videos, and you're doing this video for us and for others, which is kind of giving back and helping people stay connected.
And I'm fortunate here being at Colorado State in that there are several faculty members that, are closer by. Like one day I went up, I was in the union and I just knocked on Pam's door. But
Mm.
now the semester's really busy and I haven't reached out as much as I'd like to.
Yes, it's not always easy.
No,
That life
it's,
pulling us back again.
I know. And how do we go along with life, but also hold on to these very special moments and nurture them and continue to evolve relationships,
Mhm.
so we don't, so it doesn't just fade into the distance.
And I love that point. You can develop the relationships. They don't have to end. They don't have to stay where they were if they were just very casual, but you can actually develop some of the
Yeah.
relationships, that's a love.
And continue to nurture that.
Yeah.
And continue, I mean, because one of the great things on the voyage was the support that I felt and tried to provide to students and other faculty members. So I think that is also really important to, even though we're not close together, to continue to, support one another.
Yes. Voyage 134 will always have Voyage 134.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you so much for talking with us today. Is there anything that you want to be sure that you are able to say, any words of wisdom to impart before we wrap up today?
Mm.
Not that you haven't given us lovely wisdom already.
Oh. Well, I think the one thing I learned that I forgot to mention is like it reinforced some core values or brought some core values I never really thought about to the surface. Like the core value of being a global citizen. I think I look at the news differently now. So I think about, and that's always been a core value, but I didn't realize how central it was. And then the other thing it's impacted is the importance of experiential learning and teaching.
Mm.
And hopefully has improved or changed the way that I interact with students that I have in courses now.
That's great. Those are great points. Yes, yes. Because it's just, you don't come back the same.
No,
You bring
no,
back a new you in some ways.
yeah. Or I just learn new things about myself and they surface.
It's great. When I love that you're going to roll that into moving forward and thinking of your students and how you can bring that into your teaching and kind of share that with them so they have those kinds of opportunities.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anything else today before we wrap up?
No,
Okay.
I look
Thank
forward to seeing more sassers around.
So any Sassers watching, take that as an invite.
Yes, exactly. Reach out,
Reach out,
say hi.
say hi. Yes. Well, Lori, so good to talk with you this morning.
And you as well. It's nice to see your faces and hear your voices, and it brings like a certain joy to my
Mm,
being just be around you.
that's fabulous. Thank you in the same. And take very good care.
And I hope to be seeing you soon, Dee.
I hope so too.
Okay. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.